Officially, good morning, everyone. Welcome out to the Wednesday Market Midpoint. I am Scott. I will be your host. As always, I need to remind you that this is for educational and illustrative purposes only. What we talk about is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. We don't give advice. We don't give recommendations. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. What are we going to do today? We're going to talk about the opening analysis. Google's news was not very strong. Cloud-based revenues were down. And so, as such, earnings weren't great. Although I didn't see, I'm going to pause for a second. I didn't see where we ended up. I mean, interestingly, I want you to notice this as we are about to go look at the futures. The VIX is down a little bit. VIX is actually like, oh, we're okay. Although when we say okay, we need to recognize that what concerned us here, as this wasn't getting all the way down to here, is going to be the same concern if this doesn't get all the way back down to this low. This will be higher. And then if we have another one, then it's like, oh shit, what's going on? What does this, right? So far, it's been pretty stable, but we know that sometimes when this thing shoots, it can really shoot. So I'm definitely going to be watching this same signal that I was watching for last week. Good line still coming through about the reshaping of the United States. Oh goodness. Okay. So the VIX is okay from what we see here. What we'll do today is take a look at our posture and see how we think this week's movements so far are likely to impact. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. Futures it is. Where are they? S&P down 0.3. So if you are someone that might still have on some of your hedge that you might have put on Friday, then you should be thinking about that now, as this market is pulled back a little bit. Well, let's see what happens. Tech investors are aggressively buying the dip. We'll see. We'll see if we continue to see that. S&P down 0.3, the Dow down 0.8 or 0.08. Sorry, not 0.8, 0.08. NASDAQ is the big drop. It's 2/3, 0.67. The Russell's actually slightly positive. And obviously, Alphabet's slumping cloud sales is the earnings. Whew, man, Google was on such a tear right before. I mean, it was up at its highest high, 207. And now we came in. Actually, they beat expectations. They just lowered guidance on cloud sales. But yeah, we're going to lose about 16 points. So it's going to lose about 8% this morning. Yeah, 8%. That sounds right. Okay. What else? Why Trump tariffs aren't denting faith in the stock rally. It's a funny thing because I'm watching, some news, and I'll try to watch news across the spectrum. So I don't go too far left or too far right, but a little left, a little right, a little in the middle. And I saw some programs on the right. They're like, oh, he's just negotiating. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if it's like if he's blustering for negotiations and that's what's being discussed on our news, then how are foreign leaders perceiving it? Are they also like, there's Trump blustering again? Yeah, we'll come out. And it kind of played that way, right? Like Canada's like, oh, well, we'll give you all these border concessions that we already gave you 4 months ago. I don't know. It's an interesting perspective, right? Like, it seems like everyone's just ready to slap some tariffs back on us. So I don't know. What else? So Alphabet, AMD earnings weren't great. Disney posted, let's see, payrolls growth jumps more than expected. So we can't forget the economic calendar. Yesterday, job openings are down, which I'm okay with because this 8.2 million was an unexpected jump. 7.6 is still higher than pre-pandemic job openings. Just keep that in mind. And now this morning, ADP with private payrolls announces that they were expecting 150 and they got 183. So what do we know about jobs? Well, one thing about the tariff threats is simply that we still have fundamentally a strong economy, but based on job growth and job sustenance, based on corporate earnings that we've been seeing, based on even GDP was still in the middle of 2.5, right? Middle of the twos. Okay. I'm just curious. We haven't looked at this for a second. I just want to kind of come through. And you can see it's still June, which is halfway through the year, fourth meeting. It's still June when the probability kicks from 35 to 45, and we actually have more people thinking it's going to get cut. I think that might even still be a little bit ambitious, and it might not be until July. The Fed came out and said that they're only anticipating 2 cuts now. Right? Only 2. Okay. And let's take a quick peek at our posture before we go. And what has changed, or what do we think might change? Let me go in. Back to the conversation about the puts. If you still have your hedge on, this is going to ease back a little bit, and you're going to watch to see how does today go. Is it going to be where we dip a little bit? Is it going to be where we see this thing push, and you'll want to pay attention to the last of your hedge for sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tighten the stop. Love it. Smart. Very, very smart. We talked last night about Walmart. If anybody is still in that trade, there's a different group of people here than last night. We did have someone still in last night. Walmart did fantastic. Walmart made it to its $100 target. I'll tell you what. Yesterday when it opened, I'm like, whoo, glad I excuse me, Monday when it opened, I was like, man, that Walmart close was good. By the end of the day, I was like, what the hell? And then yesterday it gets on up over to 101. You can see here it's in that area, but I would definitely be thinking tighten stop. One of the things we looked at, and if you've never done something like this before, as we looked at the Heikin-Ashi, we said, well, this is a little too far. This is all the way down here at 98. Even if I use this new candle that just showed up, that low's down here at 99. And it's like, are we willing to take that much risk? You can see that it's open kind of flat. We're at 100. We're down 20 cents. But if you wanted, the next thing you could do is move it down to a 4-hour Heikin-Ashi. And if you use the previous candle, you're still at 99.50, which is better. And if you look at this, then you'd be around 100 or so. But what we actually did was went to the 2-hour. And here you can kind of see that if I use the second candle back, which is this one, my stop's at 100.25. That could give it the opportunity to break out if it was trying to, and then keep everything and still walk away with more than the target of the trade, which was 100, right? So anytime you're managing trades with profit towards the end of a trade, and I'm going to just rely on Miguel's last statement one more time where he said tighten stop. How do we tighten stops? Well, this is a methodology that's very useful. It's very formulaic, and you'll see that it makes sense. When I go from a 4-hour, which still has decent amounts of momentum, boom, 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 and is now starting to slow down, the 2-hour already showed those signs. Boom, boom, slow, slow, slow. And it's just kind of right there where you're like, okay, I can tighten it and keep everything, take the profit, or call it a day. But overall, Walmart definitely worked out well. Let's go see what else we have going on. Sorry, give me just a second. Okay. Get my watch list going here. Anyone got trades on? Let me know. Here's Apple on a reversion. We said Apple. Let me get back to 6-month daily. Apple's doing exactly what we said we would trade, right? There's the consolidation. There's the breakout. New high. Pulling back. Stabilizing. If this turns, whoop, 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 and this crosses, we're in business. Yeah, I think that's setting up. I like it. Amazon. We're too close to earnings on Amazon now. But if Amazon pulls back towards this 50 and gives us an opportunity, I'll be thinking about it. App 11, I was thinking about. But I feel like it's just kind of grinding at some resistance and it's just a little too close to earnings. AXP. Come on, AXP. Come on. Essentially, what I would like to be able to do is just move this and be like, okay, it hiccuped, but overall Still valid. Just took a couple extra days in this little transition to get started. Never was wrong. Yeah. Still trying. I think I can. BAC. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? I was looking at this like, well, I saw this yesterday and I was like, this could be trying to turn into something. I mean, it's a little flat right now, but it's maintained itself above the 50. It still has this kind of a cup and handle type. It's financials. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it. BX, same thing, right? There's our previous low. We broke out of this. New highs. That's a maybe. Things are developing still. Caterpillar, no. It's got to have a full... I'm not trying to catch the low of Caterpillar. If you are, great. I'm not going to try to dissuade you. I'm not going to say that's bad. I'm just saying, for me, I've now determined that this is too much for a pullback. And now it's a sell-off, a consolidation. And now if it's doing that, then I need it to bust up out, come back down. Whoops. Bust out, come back down, and then give me something. That's it. That's what I'm hoping for. CLS overextended, nothing for us yet. Cisco. Anyone still in that Cisco? I mean, it's trying to grind it out, right? It's never really gone wrong, but it's just not able to get pushing and break out yet. I don't know. I think maybe another try after earnings might be in order. Delta, same kind of a thing as AXP, where it's like, it didn't do what you wanted it to do, but it held, and it has made a pretty good push to come back. So my thought is, let's see if we can get up out of there. That's what we're looking for now. Diamonds turned positive, trying to turn positive there. Okay, fast and all. Not yet, but I'm still thinking about it. At this point, it's taken a while. Like, I'm thinking it's got to go soon. I mean, it hasn't come all the way back down, but we'll see if this thing's going to give us something. I feel like the industrials wants to participate. Flex. Oh, Flex, you son of a gun. So let me just tell you a funny story. I'm going to own it. But I did put an alert out on Flex. And I did end up buying the stock yesterday. And I assessed erroneously the options because I had just like pulled up an account and it was a paper account. But I was fine because I was just doing some analysis. And when I pulled up the options, it only showed this one Leap contract. It didn't show the other contracts. I'm like, what the hell? That's so weird. I've never seen that. But the problem was it was like 20 minutes before market close. And so I was running out of time to get the alert out. And so I just pushed it as a stock alert. I just said there weren't enough options. Is kind of what I put. Now, there was at least 2 or 3 people last night who were talking about this, who actually took it. And I haven't done this for a while, but earlier on, we actually did more stock alerts, but I've just gotten more feedback that people would prefer options alerts. If stocks, in your wheelhouse, let me know. But I just pushed the stock trade because I'm like, well, I did the work and I liked it. And a few people actually went in and built the option trade. Then last night I built what I would have built, having seen that they actually were okay options, and they nailed it. Those guys nailed it. Picked the same expiration, very similar strikes, great position sizing. So anyways, kudos to those guys. Unfortunately, it gave you a few minutes this morning maybe to put something on right as we opened, and then bam, within 10 minutes we're up at 2% higher. So if you caught it, great. If not, it's tough to try to work into now that the price has shifted so much. Anyways, there you go. Flex is moving. GBTC possibly setting up if you're a Bitcoiner. GE Vernova. Okay, let's talk sneaky reversal. So these are, I should probably get out of these candles first of all. I'm like, why am I hiking Asher candles? This is one of our Monday chip gap stocks. And then they came back up, and it's like we didn't fill the gap. We got a decent amount. We got above this high at least, so that's good, right? And now what am I thinking? I'm thinking possibly a what I call a sneaky reversal. A sneaky reversal. I don't judge this buying pressure as like, oh man, look what the buyer's coming back in. I'm like, oh, they got a couple days only. But if sellers don't come back in, it doesn't matter. If the sellers push it to here and then it stabilizes and then turns, today is not it yet, even though it is up. I would want to see it above this day, close above this, or like moving. This is a 366.08. Oh, look at that. We're at 366. We're close. So this, if you're thinking about any of these, NVIDIA, TSM, GE Vernova, we'll see a few more in here. Those are the primary ones. I'm open to this. I'm open to this little sneaky reversal where it's just like, oh, okay, maybe we'll be all right after all. Gold, sitting around. New highs, pushing. Very strong in gold. There's some defensiveness to that, I think. There's the gap on Google. On Alphabet, down 7%, sitting at 190, 191.5. Goldman, we like it. We're thinking about it. That's possibly developing. Howmet, not yet. IBM waiting for a pullback. IP. Okay, so at this point, after yesterday and now opening down again, IP has now joined whoever it was. Now my short-term memory is blinking. Sorry about that. Has joined our other one where we're not looking to call the low of this anymore. I mean, it's all the way back to the previous lows. That doesn't generate confidence for us in regard to buyers maintaining control. Now I need it to pop up, come back, and give me one of these. That's it. It was like right through here. It's still trying, and then it just couldn't do it. And then it's like you gotta know when to make that call. IWM, nothing there right now. KKR, okay. The market didn't love their earnings. Yeah. 113, they got it 118. They actually exceeded expectations. So, but they maybe lowered some guidance somewhere. We know that. That's looking pretty good to me. Even though it broke the 50, I'm still thinking about it. What would I need from Goldman? Yeah, let's go back. So from Goldman, I would like to see, well, as I look at this, This high was 638.48, and then the next day it couldn't get there, couldn't hold it. This high is 637.67, and right now we are. I'd like to see the stochastics turn up, which would probably take another 30, 40 cents to the upside. So I'd probably say I'd like to see us around 638.50 or so, 639. And then I might feel like I have what I'm looking for. I do feel like, I mean, if you notice when we turn down for stochastics, the sellers have according to the oscillator, the sellers have had the floor from here until now. What have they done with it? Nothing. Every time they try to push it down a little, it moves back up. Try to push it down a little, it moves back up. At the same time, the buyers haven't come smashing in either, right? So, yeah, I just need to be convinced that the buyers are back, Sam. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, MasterCard. Quite strong. I'm hoping that it helps AXP, but I'm not looking for a new credit trade at this point. Meta. Strong as can be. Just keeps going. Just keeps going. And it's kind of like you can see here, we had a little bit of a meta flag. Like, that was it. That's the flag. And it's trying to, and it's popping out of it now. So there's, actually, you probably could decide if you like this trade. I might look at this one, actually. How would I take this? I'm not going to go stop at this support level down here. I'm going to go stop at this breakout. So if this breakout is what I'm thinking, then I would, if this breakout is what I'm trading, breaking the flag, then I can put my stop maybe just below that rather than all the way down here. Put Meta on the list. I think it's looking quite strong. Morgan still looks good, still setting up. Morgan and Goldman are both kind of in that same. We've had this little pullback here. The sellers have had it for a while, and we're just waiting to see if the buyers will convince us to pop out of that. So either of those are going to probably behave in a very similar fashion. Microsoft, no. NDAQ. Over. I don't know. I mean, this kind of has that same look where it's trying to like bust out to a new move, but not confident enough about that. Netflix is kind of sideways. Nvidia is down. We need Nvidia to do a big bust out type thing. Palantir pulling back after earnings. Things look good there. I would definitely trade the next higher low that develops on Palantir. You know I want to. QQQ. QQQ is kind of just flat to some extent. Roblox. Man, I love Roblox. Has just been so strong. Earnings come out tomorrow. Sometime. Before market. Yeah. Reddit. A little bit more time than for earnings, but both are a little overextended. Rocket Lab. Come on, Rocket Lab. We've had a couple of good trades with you, and I would like another. I would definitely like another. SoFi, okay. I think SoFi. So you can see it tried to stabilize like it was going to turn, and then this little hiccup, but it held the 50, still holding a higher low. And here's another one, Sam, as you look at like triggers. So you'll notice this stochastic is like hooking, but my candle is still like sunk underneath this candle. The high is 1562 on this candle right here, which is kind of like this line. Let me zoom in. If if I put my mouse there, you can kind of see, I'd like to see it get above that. But I think SoFi is showing that type of a setup, right? SPY is flat, which if you look at our advancing trend, this seems to be our selling cycle that started right around that same place. So are we about to pop out of it? I mean, that would be great. What do we have so far this week? This is Wednesday. I'm not gonna count this volume day, because as I look at the combination of these two, I think that the combo of those two would be the equivalent of one. I'm just, that's my initial thoughts. I'm not going to make that call until Sunday, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. How would I mark that? This is what I'm thinking. Oh, you know what? This will be helpful. I didn't realize that I had not resized if you didn't know you could do this. We don't need enormous stochastics. It can be pretty small. We don't need enormous volume. It could be pretty small. We do want our price to be the highlight of the show. But what I'm thinking here is... No. Let me zoom in. Look what I'm going to do. You guys only get one day together. How am I going to note that? They get one day between the two. Okay. Yeah, I need sound effects in order for my things to work, of course. All right, market looks, I think, okay, actually. TJX. That looks like it could be a setup developing for a retail stock. Toast could be developing as well. Tesla's struggling. TSM struggling. DFS. That's what I've been looking for, Bill. I think. I'll tell you in a second, but I think that's actually the symbol I was thinking about the other day. Oh. Twilio looks strong. The VIX is pulling back, but still setting up a potentially another higher low, which has us a bit concerned and a bit thinking about hedges again. Walmart gives you an ability to yank some profits, a buck ahead of our target, or tighten your stop and see if it can keep going. DFS. Yes, that's what I was looking for. I can't remember why I thought that Discover was a DSC in its symbol for some reason. And I couldn't for the life of me find it, and then I just gave up on it. But yeah, I mean, if you look right now, credit's the strongest part of financials. MasterCard looks strong, Visa looks strong, Discover looks strong, AXP looks strong. Definitely take your pick. You know. Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, I think for the middle of the week, for what we've seen happen this week, we're holding up okay. And as long as politics doesn't get in the way anymore of the market, then we should be fine. And I'm still looking for trades. Questions, comments, or concerns? Otherwise, let's take a peek. We're already halfway through the market, or halfway through the week. Make sure you're getting your trading rules built. 1 hour each week specifically dedicated to your trading plan. And actually, I would say an hour on the first pass and then only 45 minutes on your second pass, 30 minutes on your third pass. It's not like you just need to sit and, stare at it and dwell on it. But it's worth it. I promise that. I started coaching trading in the year 2003. So 22 years almost this summer. And there has never been a single time where I worked with someone and said, I really need you to write your trading plan down. That when they were finished, they were like, Scott, I just don't see what you wanted me to learn from that. I just don't see what you hoped I would get. Never one time. Miguel says, I'll admit every time I go through this part, I've skimmed down an indicator. Okay. And that might be what it does. That might be where you really start to say, hey, what do I really need? Right? This is the one, what I would say the most, if I would ask people about their rules, this is where I would get the most uncertainty in the language. Well, I kind of wait to see if this thing sort of moves here, and if it kind of looks like this, and then it sort of moves into this position, then I might look at the potential for. I'm like, whoa, what? Holy shit, man! What needs to happen? Yeah, like at the end of the day, there is no. I mean, I would rely on your magic 8-ball as much as anything else because there's nothing out there. All we have is just patterns of behavior that convince us that buyers have regained control and demand is starting to pick up. That's it. Does it fit that narrative? And then what do we do with it? So, Miguel, that's phenomenal. I'm so glad you put those comments in because that's very, very useful context for what you are going to come up against in here. This is like the details where you really kind of are defining that trigger, defining like what exactly. If you have kind ofs in your setups, I can live with that. It's kind of test and support. Okay, I'm good with that because like what's your, how do you know for sure something's test and support? Support's a number that you're coming up with. So yeah, if you're looking for some kind ofs and sort ofs in your setup where it's just like, I just need it to look kind of like this, great. The sort ofs and the kind ofs have to disappear when it's time for the trigger. Like the trigger, you need to know like, this is my green light and I go. That's it. Love it. All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. Good day today. All things considered, I think we're handling the tariff-induced volatility quite well, and we're still pulling profits off. So it's less. I find myself starting to get myself starting to get just a little bit impatient. I want my spring rally, right? I want my spring rally. I want some good trading. I feel like we've been patient for it, but I'm not going to be impatient and then mess it up. That's for sure. So I think we're doing all the right things. Keep it up. We'll see if another alert comes our way this week. Other than that, as Sandy said, thank you all. Right? I need a rally, right? I need a rally. That's what I'm saying, Miguel. Thanks, everybody. Happy trading.
Recording stop.